as long as we get into the playoffs, no matter how we get there, whether it's the play-in or whether it's, climbing into the 6th spot or whatever, we know we're a tough out. We know nobody wants to see us when we get there. We just got to get there.
Thanks to BetUS for sponsoring today's video. There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and Steph Curry making the media look terrible.
I don't see the Golden State Warriors bringing home another championship.
Sit on First Take. You and Dominique Foxworth are going to sit on
Clearly remember some experts and talking heads putting up the big zero of how many championships we would have going forward because of everything that we went through. So
the funniest part about that video is Kendrick Perkins not taking accountability whatsoever.
There we go.
Now let's get real. If anyone is gonna drag their team to the playoffs, you best believe that Stephen Curry is the man to get the job done. Steph has shown time and time again that he will get Golden State to the playoffs by any means. Him a 4-time NBA champ. 3 of those rings came against LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. If you think about it, Stephen Curry is the reason why LeBron James has a negative finals record. As they got older, these two would go on to become good friends, however. This showed in the most recent Olympics where America came to take their throne back with Stephen Curry and LeBron James at the forefront. The other Olympic teams stood no chance. Steph Curry made sure to show up when it mattered the most for the entire United States of America in 2 back-to-back games. One of those games was versus Serbia, whose best player was Nikola Jokic, a man widely regarded as one of, if not the best NBA player on the planet. USA was down big, but Steph Curry managed to keep them in the game and ended the game with 36 points. Curry splashed 9 threes in that game out of 14 he took, meaning he shot 64% from the 3. The 3 came so easy to him that night, and it was like he was shooting layups. Team USA ended up making a comeback and winning the game to advance to the final, where they would play against France, led by Victor Wembanyama and Rudy Gobert, who had just taken down Team Canada and Germany, who were the biggest threats in the Olympics besides Team USA. Wemby came out swinging, which was to be expected, but one man can only do so much. In the closing minutes, Steph realized it was time to put this to bed. Pun intended. After the game, Steph Curry and LeBron James celebrated like never before. It's officially been 2 weeks since this, which means that Steph Curry is forced to go back to reality. The reality is that the Golden State Warriors aren't the same team they were back in 2015 or 2017 or 2018 or 2022 for that matter. The fact of the matter is that for the first time in over a decade, the Golden State Warriors are now without Klay Thompson. In addition to the loss of Klay Thompson, they also lost Chris Paul. If there's one thing that the Olympics showed us, it's that Stephen Curry still seemed to be in his prime despite entering year 16 and being 36 years old, and Draymond isn't getting any younger himself. He's 2 years younger than Steph, yet looks older. The Warriors' stress is no joke. There are a couple of bright sides though. One of them being the Warriors still have Andrew Wiggins, Draymond, Steph, 3 of the main guys from the 2022 finals. Another bright side is Jonathan Kuminga seems to be a rising star and he's only 21 years old. They also have Brandon Podziemski, who they call Pods for obvious reasons. Pods is apparently going to be attempting 8 to 10 3-point shots a game, and they want him to. This has been one of the better off seasons for the Warriors, with new additions like Buddy Hield, DeAnthony Melton, and Mr. Slow-Mo himself, Kyle Anderson. The Warriors can make some good lineups with this new talent, and I genuinely believe that they can compete at a high level in the competitive Western Conference. Speaking of which, getting back to the playoffs is going to be far from easy, with teams like the Denver Nuggets, Phoenix Suns, Los Angeles Lakers always looking to make deep runs in the conference. I was scrolling through the BetUS website and I was wondering what the odds were of the Golden State Warriors actually making the playoffs this season. And it's a negative 115. You can never bet against Stephen Curry, so I'm gonna go ahead and place it. Make sure you guys gamble responsibly. If you guys want to do the same as well, BetUS is offering a 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. Now back to the video. And let me tell you, Steve Kerr picked up a lot of flack during his time coaching in the Olympics for his lineups and substitutions, so who knows what version of Kerr the Warriors will be getting this season. Last year, the Golden State Warriors were so close to making it to the playoffs, attempting to crawl their way out of the play-in tournament, which they've done before, versus a familiar opponent, the Sacramento Kings. We didn't exactly see a prime Steph Curry per se, but he did do a good job that night nonetheless. Steph Curry wound up scoring 22 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and a block on 8 for 16 shooting, which translates to 50% from the field. His supporting cast, on the other hand, outside of Steph and Draymond, shot 21 for 56, which is 37.5% for those who don't know. Klay Thompson shot 0 for 10 from the field and had a shocking 0 points in 32 minutes, which played a main role in the Warriors letting him go. Klay Thompson wasn't the only player out there building houses with all those bricks. His teammate at the time, Jonathan Kuminga, shot 6 for 15, but he was one of the 5 players to reach double digits that night and actually put some points on the board, unlike Klay. But now that he's gone, the Warriors don't have the scapegoat to blame for all their problems anymore, and with their new members, I truly see them performing a whole lot better than they did last season in this upcoming 2024-25 season. They replaced 2 veteran players, and the core 5 is looking to be much younger, excluding Draymond and Chef, of course. Going back to the Sacramento Kings game, the Kings only shot about 3% better from the field than the Warriors did that game, so clearly the offense isn't the real problem, it's their defense. Something to think about when talking about the Kings is their passing, specifically the passing from Sabonis, who clearly inspires the other guys to keep the ball moving. This is extra important because it creates miscommunications and mismatches, and if you look at the possessions that De'Aaron Fox scored that night, you'll quickly realize that Steph wasn't guarding him in most of the clips despite them playing the same position. This is done because Steph Curry isn't exactly an elite defender. It's also so he can save his energy for offense, so they put him on Keon Ellis instead, but Steph Curry still got scored on a good amount by Fox and Ellis. This is due to him being hunted on defense to create the mismatch that opposing teams want. Steph Curry would occasionally be forced to switch onto Fox, which Fox loved and made sure to take advantage of the switch each time. Steph would also lose Keon Ellis on a couple of possessions out of confusion with all of the running around and switching caused by the Kings' passing and off-ball movement. Ellis wound up scoring 15 points for the Kings that night, with a solid chunk of those points being on Steph Curry or caused by him. Teams tend to hunt Steph Curry a lot on the defensive end because he can sometimes be a liability on that side of the floor, and he was a pretty fragile guy in his first couple years in the league. Former Cavaliers coach Tyronn Lue admitted to Curry that back in the Cleveland Cavaliers versus Golden State Warriors saga, that he would get his players to hunt Steph on the defensive end. It was a somewhat wholesome clip. Check it out.
I'm trying to bring you in because I'm trying to tire you out. I'm trying to make you think about anything other than just scoring. So there's an intention behind it, and you also take it as like respect because of that, because you can score, because they're trying to, play the numbers game on that. Them trying to hunt you is a sign of respect too, because it's like we know it's in our best interest to try to wear you down.
Recently, Steph Curry looks to be much bigger and much stronger when we look at his core. So that's going to help him in the long run defensively, depending on how many more years Steph wants to play, of course. I say all that to say the Warriors have become the underdogs again, and it's time for them to remind everyone that they are back like they never left. Barring any injuries, I strongly believe that Steph Curry can will these guys to the playoffs, and if Steve Kerr does what he's paid to do, then I see this new supporting cast taking a lot of pressure off Curry's shoulder. But what do you think? Will the Warriors make it back to the playoffs, or even the play-in for that matter? If so, how far do you think they'll go? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Thanks to BetUS Sportsbook and Casino for sponsoring today's video, and I will catch you guys in the next one.